Hey, what is up, everybody? It is your boy Evan coming to you with another video, right? So I have heard some whispers, some talks, some concern, if you will, that Trump and his DOJ plan to strip away people's citizenship. Say it isn't so. Oh no, man, what did I vote for? What did I support? Obviously, there's a little more nuance than that, right? So I wanted to go ahead and take this video as an opportunity to kind of dispel the rumors of this. There's a lot of fear mongering going on because that's the only real way that the left wins in these arguments. Ultimately, it's dispelled with just the slightest bit of research. But to the TikTokers that just like to point at a title and fearmonger people, that works, you know? Who needs logic and reason and facts when you have public sentiment? But we don't do that here. Anywho, so I'm going to go ahead and read this article from NPR. Yes, NPR. And we're going to go ahead and dispel a lot of the misinformation that's out about that. But before we do that, I would really appreciate if you, the viewer, can meet me at my reciprocal tariff. That's right. In return for watching this video, you're going to give me a like, a comment, and a subscription. You think that's fair? I think it's fair. I'll give you a second to do that. Did you do it? All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into this. So as I said, this is an article from NPR from Jacqueline Diaz. So the Justice Department is aggressively prioritizing efforts to strip some Americans of their citizenship. Department leadership is directing its attorneys to prioritize denaturalization in cases involving naturalized citizens who commit certain crimes and giving U.S. attorneys wider discretion on when to pursue this tactic, according to a June 11th memo published online. Now let's go ahead and zoom in on that sentence, right? So, naturalized citizens. So to all my fellow Hispanics that were born in this country, you're safe, big dog. Nothing to worry about. This is regarding naturalized citizens who fit a very specific criteria. So let's go ahead and get deeper into this so we can establish that criteria. The move is aimed at U.S. citizens who were not born in the country, i.e. naturalized citizens. According to data from 2023, close to 25 million immigrants were naturalized citizens. So we're not dealing with a small number, right? This is a pretty large number of immigrants. At least one person has already been denaturalized in recent weeks. On June 13th, a judge ordered the revocation of the citizenship of Elliot Duke, who used they/them pronouns. I'm glad they threw that in there, right? Duke is an American military veteran originally from the UK who was convicted of distributing child sex abuse material, something they later admitted they were doing prior to becoming a US citizen. Well, would you look at that, right? I bet a couple of you lefties that for some reason watch this video or watching this going, grr, how dare Trump denaturalize a US citizen and a vet no less than that. That's who you're supporting. Pedophile that distributes child sex abuse material. You ready to get off the high horse, right? Okay, so I believe that that is someone that we have a vested interest in getting out of this country. Now, to some of you guys that are pure constitutionalists and pure law enthusiasts and are saying, well, just because he's a criminal doesn't mean we have the right to take away their citizenship. Actually, let me go ahead and correct you on that real quick, big dog. You see, part of the naturalized citizen process is that you can't commit felonies while trying to become a citizen and prior to becoming a U.S. citizen. You can't do that. Now, this person admits to distributing this child sex abuse material, which is a felony. They did this prior to becoming a U.S. citizen. Thus, they breached the contract and lied under oath that they had not committed felonies. To me, that would make the contract that they entered the U.S. with to become a citizen null and void. You lied. Denaturalization is a tactic that was heavily used during the McCarthy era of the late 1940s and early 1950s, and one that expanded during the Obama administration and grew further during President Trump's first term. Now, I know a lot of conservatives like to harp on, oh, Obama was great when it came to deportations. I'm not going to do that because you already heard all of it. I just want to focus on that this is nothing new. People are going to want you to believe that Trump is acting brazen and unprecedented. That's just not the case. We've been doing this. Have we expanded on it? Yeah. And I think we should, especially in cases like this. It's meant to strip citizenship from those who have lied about their criminal convictions and membership in illegal groups like the Nazi Party or communists during McCarthyism on their citizenship applications. There you go. There you have it, right? You lied. You breached the contract. Assistant Attorney General Brett A. Shumate wrote in the memo that pursuing denaturalization will be among the agency's top 5 enforcement priorities for Civil Division. The Civil Division shall prioritize and maximally pursue denaturalization proceedings in all cases permitted by law and supported by the evidence, he said. So this isn't a willy-nilly thing. They're not just stripping people's citizenship away. This has to go and 1, be lawful, and 2, be supported by evidence. That sounds like a great standard to maintain. The focus on denaturalization is just the latest step by the Trump administration to reshape the nation's immigration system across all levels of government, turning it into a major focus across multiple federal agencies that has become with redefining who is let into the United States or has the right to be an American. Since his return to office, the president has sought to end birthright citizenship and scale back refugee programs. But immigration law experts express serious concerns about the effort's constitutionality and how this could impact families of naturalized citizens. Well, yeah, I'm sure that denaturalizing someone when their family are citizens is going to be devastating to them. Almost as devastating as finding out that your family member was a pedophile or a gang member or a Nazi. I'm pretty sure that would also be pretty shocking, pretty damning to that family. Frankly, it's an argument from emotion that I just don't bite into. The constitutionality, okay, that's a legitimate question. I would argue that you lying under oath about your involvement with criminal groups or your involvement with criminal activity breaches the contract in which you enter with the country. The DOJ memo says that the federal government will pursue denaturalization cases via civil litigation. An especially concerning move, said Cassandra Robertson, a law professor at Case Western Reserve University. In civil proceedings, any individual subject to denaturalization is not entitled to an attorney, Robertson said. There is a lower burden of proof for the government to reach, and it is far easier and faster to reach a conclusion in these cases. Sounds good to me, honestly. Sounds good to me. We already have so much congestion in our court system. We need to get these people out. Get them out pronto. Robertson says stripping Americans of citizenship through civil litigation violates their due process and infringes on the rights guaranteed by the 14th Amendment. Hans von Spakovsky, I'm not even going to try it anymore, with the Conservative Heritage Foundation, supports the DOJ's denaturalization efforts. I do not understand how anyone could possibly be opposed to the Justice Department taking such action to protect the nation from obvious predators, criminals, and terrorists. As for the due process concerns, nothing prevents that alien from hiring their own lawyer to represent them. They are not entitled to have the government, and thus the American taxpayer, pay for their lawyer. That is not a due process violation since all immigration proceedings are civil matters and no individuals, including American citizens, are entitled to government furnished lawyers in any type of civil matter. Yeah, clear as that. At the end of the day, it's a civil proceeding. We're not going to change the rules on how civil proceedings are held or what the government is required to do just because it doesn't suit the interest of illegal aliens or soon to be illegal aliens. Yeah. I have no pity for pedophiles. I have no pity for terrorists. You shouldn't lie. In fact, there's several court cases and several precedents set to where people were just outside of the time frame that the US was looking at their criminal deeds, and they got their citizenship because they waited. If you did something illegal and you really want to be a US citizen, you're really trying to change your life for the better, wait. Give it a few years. That would be my advice. And there's precedent to back that up. You did something bad. We all make mistakes. Some mistakes bigger than others, but we all make mistakes. If you made a mistake, give it some time. Allow that to pass the statute of limitations and then apply for your citizenship. That's my only advice forward, other than don't commit crimes. Don't be a burden to the society. So, seen that, you heard that from me. How do you guys feel about that? Do you think that this is an overstep of government? Do you think we shouldn't be denaturalizing these citizens? I mean, I personally believe that if you are someone committing these repugnant actions, you need to get out of here like yesterday. So I'm glad that the civil proceedings are making this speedy rather than having to hire these people a lawyer and draw this process out. Let me know what you guys think though. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe. And if you found this informative, hey, maybe share it with a friend that's worried that they're going to lose their citizenship. They're the fifth generation Hispanic that doesn't even know Spanish is like, oh, Trump's going to deport me to Mexico. Oh. All right, guys. I appreciate you watching. I'm Evan. This is the video and I'm out. Peace.